why slavery is still for today. I explained to you the purpose of slavery, which was not to enslave another Israelite brother, but to evangelize them, disciple them, and then release them into the world to be a witness for Yahshua. I explained that to you last week. And I really can't explain it to you again this week, because then we won't finish the message. We'll just wind up being repetitive. And Yahweh knows we don't want to continue to what? To be repetitive. So again, we'll be preaching for a few hours, I think. Part 2 of the message entitled, The True Purpose of Slavery Today. Those of you who didn't hear the entire message last week, let me recommend that you get the CD or the DVD so you could pick up on the message. How many understood clearly what I was trying to say last week?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, we weren't promoting slavery like the world or the pagans promote slavery. No, not at all. We were promoting a slavery that Yahweh designed to evangelize the people of Israel, evangelize the heathens, disciple the heathen, and then release them. But slavery was prohibited among the people of Israel. The whole purpose of slavery was to take heathens, bring them into the commonwealth of Israel, get them saved and discipled as Israel, and then release them into the world to be a witness for Mashiach Yahshua and Abba Yahweh. That was the purpose of slavery. Never were Israelites allowed to enslave each other. Never. Slavery was prohibited among the people of Israel. The whole purpose of slavery was to bring more people into the people of Israel, to evangelize and disciple the heathen. Can I hear a good amen? Amen. That's why you need to get that teaching. Like if you missed it last week, because I really don't have the time to go over it today. So unlike the heathen practice of slavery, listen, slaves were property in Israel. So that not they could be slaves, but so that they can be discipled and released in the 7th year, the year of Shemitah. However, it's good to start in Matityahu 5:17 because it's a good place to refresh our memories. Even though we don't want to go over part 1 again, but it's still a good place to refresh our memories. Yahshua comes in his first coming, his first parousia to the earth, and he says this in the Sermon on the Mount. What mount? Probably Mount Carmel. Verse 17. Think not that I have come to weaken or destroy the Torah or the Nevi'im, the prophets.
Amen.
I have not come to weaken or destroy, but to completely reveal in its intended fullness. For truly I say unto you, until the current Shamayim, heavens, and earth pass away, not one Yud, the smallest letter of the Hebrew alphabet, or one Nekudah, the vowel pointings underneath the Hebrew letters, shall be by any means pass away from the Torah until all be fulfilled. Amen. Whoever will break or weaken the least of the Torah commands or allowances and teach men that they have been weakened will be called least in the Malchut HaShamayim. But whoever will do and teach the commands, the same will be great in the Malchut HaShamayim. In other words, it's okay to be great. Yahweh wants you to be great. Amen. But the only way to be great in the Malchut HaShamayim is to teach his chukim, his mishpatim, and his allowances. And you will be great in the Malchut HaShamayim. But the point is, Yahshua says here, not only have I not come to weaken, nullify, or destroy the Torah or the Nevi'im, another way of saying the Tanakh, I have not come to weaken the smallest vowel or the smallest nekudah of the Tanakh. I have come to reveal it in the original intended fullness, the way the Father originally gave it in its intended fullness. I have come, and the rabbis and the Prushim, the Sadducees and the Pharisees have twisted the intent of the Torah, and I have come to reveal it in its intended fullness. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
Baruch Hashem Yahweh. So, the premise is this. Here is the premise for part 2 of the true purpose of slavery today. Until the current Shamayim, heavens, have passed away, not one Yud, not one Nekudah will pass away. Have the current heavens passed away?
No, not yet.
Is the sun still shining?
Yes.
Is the moon still shining?
Yes.
Are the current stars still shining?
Yes, they are.
when the moon is in the 7th house and Jupiter aligns with Mars and peace guides the planet, in this crazy age of Aquarius or whatever you're talking about, nothing in this solar system has yet changed. Can I hear a good amen? Turn to your neighbor and say, nothing has changed. Nothing in this solar system has changed. The great cataclysmic cosmic disturbance that is the sign of Yeshua's return has not happened yet. The sign of Yeshua's return. Cosmic disturbance. Can I hear a good amen? So the sun is still where? Where it's always been. The moon is still where? Where it's always been. The Kochavim are where? Where they've always been. And if they are where they've always been, the Torah and the principles of Torah are where they have always been, settled forever in heaven. Come on, somebody. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. If you really believe that and you're not just saying amen to make me feel good, but even though I need to feel good, and I need to be encouraged, but if you're not just doing that to make me happy, that means slavery is for today. Amen. So we need to find slaves. Did he say that? Absolutely. Which part didn't you understand? Was it we, the slaves, or slavery? If slavery is for today, because the moon is still shining, the sun is still shining, the stars are still in the heavens, and not one yud or nekudah can pass away from the Torah, then you and I need to find the eternal principle of slavery and apply it in a kosher way. What church are you going to hear this in? Zero. They're so afraid to touch slavery that the pastor shakes in his boots thinking that the board is going to fire him, or that the board is going to take the rod of correction to the seat of understanding and give him the right foot of fellowship. How many know that most preachers are afraid of their people? Yep. We don't have a lot of folks that I need to be afraid of anymore. Do you understand that?
That's right.
Because most of them ain't here no more. Not that I ever was afraid of them.
Amen.
Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
So I'm not worried about fear. I'm telling you, slavery is a vibrant, living principle because it is part of the Torah. Just like plural marriage is vibrant, living, and part of the Torah. Here's a remez for you before I forget. Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1 says, when the millennial kingdom, the Atid Lavo, comes, 7 women will take hold of one man and say, look, we'll eat our own bread. Look, we'll wear our own clothing. We're not looking for a sugar daddy. We're not looking for someone that we can latch onto for provision. Only allow all of us, 7 wives, to be called by your surname, by your family name. So we see that Yeshua is, in fact, who is that man that are married to Yeshua in the Malchut HaShamayim or in the Atid Lavo? Those are the 7 brides of Yeshua HaMashiach. Can you hear it? Amen? Now here's a remez for you. And again, I suggest you read the book rather than go into it today. When we turn to Gileanah, the book of Revelation, how many wives do we see in the first 2 chapters?
7. 7.
These are all kihilahs, brides, part of the greater universal body of Yeshua, but they're all individual brides, 7 brides of the Kehillah of Asia Minor, all married to Moshiach Yeshua, the risen Son of Man and the risen Son of David. Can I hear a good amen?
Baruch Hashem Yahweh.
That is a partial fulfillment of Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 4, verse 1. That's a partial fulfillment. The full fulfillment will come in the millennial kingdom, when plural marriage is the way the kingdom will be administrated and ruled over through the clans and the patriarchal families of Israel. But even today, before the kingdom of Yahweh has come on the earth, after the lake of fire burns the old earth and the elements melt in the heavens and the earth, before all that happens, even now Yeshua is married to how many brides alone in Asia Minor? 7. That doesn't include all the other brides in the Kehillah that he's married to at the same time. Amen? So if plural marriage is clearly for today, and they went out from among us, we learned that today. Because they were not of us at this point. They were of us at another point. You follow what I'm saying? That doesn't mean they're bad people. That doesn't mean they lost their salvation. Some of them had a problem with gossip and rebellion and slander, and Yahweh will smack them over the head. But that's not our job.
Amen.
But it has nothing to do with salvation. Amen. Can I hear a good amen? It has to do with calling the truth a lie. Once you start calling the truth a lie, you have to go out from among us because you're no longer with us. Once you start calling the truth a lie. Can I hear a good amen?
Amen.
So we clearly see there's something as antisocial today in the West, at least, as plural marriage is anathema, at least to the greater religious society and Western society, but not to Yahshua, praise Yahweh. As if these haughty people and arrogant people think there's only going to be one person at the marriage supper of the Lamb. If Yahshua really wasn't monogamous, how many people would be at the marriage supper of the Lamb? One. How many believe there's only going to be one born-again believer at the marriage supper of the Lamb?
Yeah, right.
Give me a break. There'll be how many? Hundreds, millions, if not billions. Baruch Hashem, Yahweh. They're all members one of another, but they're all individual brides as well. So the point is, the principles and the ordinance of slavery must still be in effect. Let's backtrack a little bit to Shemot 33:11. You're listening on the Yadi Radio Network to our live service from Bnei Yeshua Synagogue of Broward County, Florida. And we're glad you're with us. Please get your friends and family in touch. We're going to cover some deep things today in the Word of Yahweh. So you want to make sure you don't miss a single moment.
Amen.
Shemot, chapter 33, and verse number 11. Exodus 33, and verse 11. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, Panayim el Panayim, face to face, as a man, notice, speaks to his chaver, his friend. And he returned again to the camp. Moshe, again, after speaking with Yahweh, Panayim el Panayim, returned to the camp. But his slave, the Hebrew word for slave is the Hebrew word Eved, his slave, Joshua, the son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle. So we see, before Yehoshua could be a warrior to lead the children of Israel into the promised land, he first had to learn how to be a servant or a slave to Moshe Rabbeinu as a young man. He was a young servant, a young slave. But again, we learned last week, and I want to reiterate again and again, lest the devil twist my words, that slavery in Israel is not for the purpose of subjugation or humiliation or to control another human being and make them less than you yourself are. No, the purpose of slavery is to train them and to release them for the service of the ministry. Yehoshua was not a pagan. So Moshe was not allowed to enslave Joshua, but Yahweh was. Joshua and Moshe Rabbeinu could take pagans and teach pagans, bring them into a saving knowledge of Mashiach Yeshua, and after they come into a saving knowledge of Mashiach Yeshua, then they can be discipled in the Torah and the things of Yahweh. So we can do that to the pagans, we can do that to the heathen, but among Israelites, we were not